I have spent over $100,000 on online courses, mentors, and programs. Some of them gave me frameworks I still use every single day, and some of them I definitely want my money back. But every single one of them, the hits and the misses, taught me the same 3 things. And the people I have watched go from nothing to replacing a full salary in under 90 days all had these 3 things working at the same time. Most people chasing online income are missing at least 2 of them. And that gap is the entire difference between someone who tries this stuff for 6 months and quits and someone who actually builds something that lasts. I am going to walk you through all 3. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why some people seem to catch a wave and ride it while others grind forever and stay stuck. And more importantly, you will know what to do about it. Just so you know who I am, my name is Ethan. I grew up in Western Sydney. My parents were Vietnamese refugees who escaped by boat and built a life here with nothing behind them. They pointed me toward the path that they knew. School, degree, stable job, mortgage, and repeat. So I followed it. I got into UNSW, I got into IT, did everything they asked. And I remember sitting at my desk one afternoon thinking about how my parents crossed an entire ocean so I could have freedom. And I was spending 8 hours a day asking permission to take a lunch break. I started looking for a way out. I spent 2 years and over $100,000 learning everything I could from programs, coaches, and mentors. I made every expensive mistake available, and eventually I cracked it. Not just for myself, but for over 100 students here in Australia who have gone through the same system and done the same thing. This video is me handing you the filter I wish before I had spent that money. So the thing nobody tells you when you start buying courses and joining programs is that the content is never the problem. I've been inside programs that were genuinely amazing and still walked away with nothing to show for it. And then I've seen people take a basic framework, one that half the internet already knows, and turn it into a $10,000 a month online business within 60 days. The difference was never the information. It was always the person applying it and the environment they were applying it into. So before I ever spend money on anything now, I run it through these 3 filters. And every successful person I have studied, whether they built an agency, a coaching business, a content brand, or anything else, was unconsciously applying all 3 of them, whether they knew it or not. The first one is obsession over exposure. The biggest trap I see aspiring entrepreneurs fall into is becoming information addicts. They buy the course, consume the modules, join the community, buy the next course, consume those modules, and then repeat. They know a little about a lot of things and they are not very good at any of them. And I was this person. I had notebooks full of ideas and strategies and frameworks from programs I had paid for. And my bank account looked exactly the same as before I started. The people who actually win are the ones who pick one skill and go so deep into it that they genuinely become hard to ignore. Not service level, not I watched 12 YouTube videos about this. I mean the kind of mastery where clients feel it in the first conversation, where you are not just explaining a concept, but you are demonstrating it. When I look back at every mentor worth the money I spent on them, they all had this in common. They were not generalists who tried everything. They were so good at one specific thing that it was obvious the moment they opened their mouth. That is the first filter I now apply before investing into anything. Is this going to take me deeper into something I am genuinely committed to mastering, or is it just adding more tabs to my browser? Because exposure without obsession is just expensive entertainment. The question is never what should I learn? The question is what am I willing to get embarrassingly good at? Pick that, then go all in. The second principle is where most people get confused, because from the outside it looks like luck. You've probably seen people in the online space who seem to catch a wave out of nowhere. They were not obviously smarter or more experienced than you. They did not outwork everyone around them, but something clicked and they scaled fast and it looked almost effortless. That is not luck. That is timing. Every market has a growth cycle. There are windows where the demand is exploding. The competition is still thin, and even an average execution produces above average results because the market itself is doing half the work. And there are windows where the demand is flat. The competition is thick, and even excellent execution produces ordinary results because you are swimming against the current. One of the most expensive lessons I paid for was learning this the hard way. I invested serious money into learning a model that worked. The content was good, the mentor was credible, but the window for that specific approach in that specific market had already shifted. I was trying to win a race that had already been run. Now I think about it differently. Skill gets you to the table. Timing determines what the table is set with. If you are obsessively building a skill inside a market that is on fire, you get both. You get the result of your own competence and you get the tailwind of a market that is actively pulling you forward. You are not fighting for scraps. You are riding a current. The smart play is to find where those those two things overlap. Not what am I good at in a dying market, and not what is hot right now that I have no real investment in. The question is, what skill can I genuinely go deep on that also sits inside a market where the demand is growing faster than the supply of people who can serve it? That overlap is where people build real income fast. And the beautiful thing is that it funds everything else. You are not choosing this forever. You are choosing it right now because it works right now, and it gives you the resources and the freedom to build whatever comes next. Now, here is where it gets interesting. When you combine principle 1 and principle 2, something happens that looks like from the outside like someone getting lucky. They are not getting lucky. They went deep on a skill in a market with tailwinds, and the combination accelerated their results in a way that pure effort or pure market timing alone never would have. I've watched this happen with my own students, people who 6 months ago were sitting at the same desk I used to sit at, doing work that did not feel like theirs. They picked one skill, they went obsessive, they pointed at a session at a market that was actively hungry for it, and the results came faster than they expected because both things were working at once. Jason Nguyen was processing paperwork at the ATO for $4,000 a month. Within 2 weeks of actually going all in on one skill in one market, he had closed 2 clients at $5,000 each. Albert was an X-ray technician, no marketing background at all. His first client paid him $3,500 upfront. Jansen was a lifeguard making $2,000 a month, closed 2 clients at $6,000 each in his first month. These are not people who got lucky. They are people who found the overlap. The third principle is the one I want every person watching this to tattoo somewhere they can see it before they spend $1 on any program or mentor. A program accelerates. It does not substitute. The biggest mistake I made early on was treating the investment as the action. I bought the course and I felt like I had done something. I had not done anything. I had bought access to a tool I had not yet used. The mentors and programs that gave me a real return were the ones I approached differently. I showed up obsessive. I treated every call, every module, every piece of feedback like it was the only information I was ever going to get. I implemented before I felt ready. I became the kind of student that the mentor genuinely wanted to invest extra time in because they could see the work being done. The programs that cost me money and gave me nothing back, the ones I look at now and feel that sting, were the ones I approached passively. I consumed the content. I did not go deep enough on the skill. I was not pointed at a market with momentum. So even when the program itself was solid, I extracted nothing from it. Here is the honest truth. A good program shortens the learning curve dramatically. It compresses what might take you 3 years of trial and error into 6 months of structured execution, but only if you show up as the person who is already committed to the destination. The program is just the vehicle. You still have to drive. So those are the 3 things. Obsession over exposure, because skill is the only thing that you own. Timing and tailwinds, because being skilled in a growing market compounds your effort in a way that pure work ethic never can. And treating every program as an accelerant, not a substitute, because the investment only pays back what you put into it. Every person I have seen build real income online, whether through an agency, through coaching, through content, whatever the vehicle, was applying all 3. And every person I have watched struggle was missing at least one. If you are sitting in a job right now that is not yours, if you feel like your income is capped and your time is not your own, and you are watching other people online build things while you stay stuck, you do not have a motivation problem. You have a direction problem. You just need to know where to point it. If that sounds like you, I put together a free video in my description that walks through the exact system I use and that my students here in Australia are using to sign their first clients. It's linked below. Go watch it and decide for yourself.